Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opinion Machine, the show where we talk about all things gaming. My name is Killjoy, and today we are going to be talking about Stronghold Definitive Edition. I'm shocked that I haven't already done a video on this. I kind of planned to when the game came out sort of near the end of last year. But there we go, it just must have come and passed me by. But I want to talk about it today, just give some quick thoughts on it and talk about why this is a really good, for Definitive Edition, this is actually really solid. And since the original release, like the bug fixing they've done, the extra campaigns, the free content, the paid content, all that good stuff. So Stronghold Definitive Edition is the original Stronghold game. If you ever played it, if you don't know what that is, it is a castle sim game. You basically, for the most part, fight around England, taking back control of England, Scotland, Wales, and do so while building in a castle up. Doing it in the ways of having people to chop wood, having people to gather food, having people to get stone. You use it all, combine it together, people to make weapons to protect your lands, to take fights to them. The game usually focuses around you defending a place or doing a siege of somebody else, and you usually start with a set amount of units. Apart from the normal campaign, there are other modes and things like an economic mode, which is less about combat and more about figuring out how to get things efficiently in your own home base. Do things like that, and then there's other bits around it like a free build mode and all that good stuff. Anyway, Stronghold Definitive Edition came out last year, and it was essentially a very cheap game. It's £12 in the UK. It's currently on offer at the time of recording this video, but normal price is about £12. And it essentially was like, the first thing you're going to notice is the visual upgrade. The fact that the visuals are, I believe they're in 4K, or at least they're updated to be significantly better from the original. Things look very much smoother. Obviously looks one of those things where you kind of look at it and go, oh, that's how it always looked, but it's not the case when you see side-by-side comparisons. But big visual overhaul. A lot of the people and animals and stuff in the game animate significantly better. It seems like they have more frames of animation. The one thing I will say that doesn't look much better is like the trees and stuff still kind of animate like they used to. It's not the end of the world, but you can definitely tell a lot of it went into the units and like the people and the stuff that's more of a focus that you'll be looking at most of the time. But the visuals, while a nice upgrade, aren't the big thing here. There are a lot of changes and upgrades to Stronghold for the price of this package is actually very good. So let's talk about quality of life, because there are quality of life options in this. We have UI scaling. We have a lot of control options. You can have classic left click for RTS. You can have right click if you want the more modern stuff. There's obviously your standard sort of graphic options, your audio options. There's difficulty. The game lets you cheat as well. Disables achievements, but it'll unlock all the levels for you. There's other bits and bobs. I kind of appreciate that actually, because not many games let you do that, but you can go in there and unlock all the missions and just play the missions you want. I believe the game will let you use cheat codes if you turn that on as well, which I think are the classic cheat codes like invincibility, finish a level, more money, all that sort of stuff. So there's a ton of things like that in there. The options are actually pretty cool. You got even things like, would you want the pointer to be a sword, or do you want it to be a classic arrow, things like that. So there's a good decent amount of options in there. There probably could be some extras improvements, but honestly, being able to like UI scale and have some of that like left and right mouse clicking and kind of customize controls a bit is quite nice. And then there's things like anti-aliasing, full screen, all the sort of other sort of basic stuff you'd expect. But there are new options here from the original, which is good to see. Love to see it. There's also things like the Steam Workshop support, integration with that. They moved a lot of things over, so you can make your own maps. You can do a bunch of things with that, which is really cool. One thing that I'm obviously very happy about is the fact that they remastered the soundtrack. The soundtrack to this game is pretty solid. It's not much music, but the music that's here, it very much sums up the vibe of the game very well. Honestly, just works very well. It's nice to hear it in like that clear, like crystal clear sound. And apparently they've gone back in and recorded some lines for some of the newer campaigns, which I'll get to in a second, with the original voice actors. And there's a ton of stuff like that. It's really, really cool. There's other things like being able to add stuff to the UI as well, I forgot to mention. So there's all these little options that kind of are awesome to see. I think some of this stuff has been added in over time as well. But all these things, they could have stopped there. That could have been it in terms of, hey, we've made the game look better, we've added quality of life. it's a cheap price, so you know you can't really blame anyone for basically saying, hey, that's good enough. But this is where it kind of gets interesting. They added in a brand new campaign. So you've got the original campaign in the game, which is about 20 missions, I think. Then they added in like a brand new or 2 brand new campaigns. It's called the Duel campaign, and essentially you get it's in 4 parts. So you got the basically versus the rat, versus the snake, versus the pig, versus the wolf. Those are the 4 main villains from the original story. These are extra missions based on each of them. So yeah, they gave you both of those, and on top of that, they got the economic missions as well. They've added in another economic set of missions, and they've also added some castle trails to the game. One for, I think, for the UK and one for the rest of the world. And they've done this, and then the last 2 campaigns, the pig and the wolf, are paid DLC content, but they're about £2 to £3 and super cheap. What they've done with this game is really impressive for a definitive edition. For what is a remaster, let's call it what it should be called, they've gone above and beyond in terms of content. The fact that you can now play multiplayer with people across Steam makes it nice and easy. You've got a good campaign already. You've now got extra campaigns for free. You've got economic campaigns for free. You've got trail campaigns for free. A ton of bug fixes, more quality of life. Every time I look at the updates for the patches and stuff, you can see they've gone back in and changed things and fixed things and edited things. And all in all, they've just done a really, really good job with the game. You know, not charging out the arse. They could easily have charged like £20 for this, but they didn't. They did it at a nice £12, roughly around there anyway. And then each of the extra DLCs that you do have to buy are no more than about £3 anyway, or if not, slightly more, but they're dirt cheap. It's nice when game companies do remasters and things and they sell it. I mean, this is probably too cheap. It should probably be about £15, but it's nice to see that they've gone, hey, this is what we think this game's worth. Here's a bunch of value on top of what you were probably already expecting. And on top of that, we're going to work on some more maps and levels and campaign things that you can choose to buy later on. And we're going to add in some more free stuff as well. It's one of those games where it's just like, you know what, this is just... These guys, this feels like Goodwill, the video game. Very much so. It was like, we want to update this classic game. We want it to be the best one for the fans to play. We want to give them something new to play in this. And going forward, we want to keep updating it and making sure that people do enjoy the content we're making, while they're also working on a brand new Stronghold game, which I believe is in Unreal Engine. This is awesome. It's a game that if you've played the original Stronghold and you're looking to upgrade to this, I would say it's 100% worth it. If you've never played Stronghold before, for the price that this game normally is, it's definitely worth it. Because you can't go wrong for any kind of game that's around about £10. Like, you can't really go wrong with it. Because you're not losing, it's not costing you too much. But what you're getting here is a silly amount of content. You know, the original campaign itself is very, very long. On top of that, you have the original economic campaign, which I think is it's somewhere between 5 to 10 missions. I'm not sure on the exact amount. I could be way off base, but I think it's around there. You know, you've got the free build mode, and on top of that, now you're getting a ton more free content. Like, it's hard to say like, oh, this is bad value for money, because it isn't. It's such good value for money, and it's also a good game. And in my opinion, Stronghold 1, the original Stronghold, is still the best out of all the Stronghold games. I've played a few of them. Crusader's good, but Crusader's a lot more difficult for different reasons. Stronghold 3, I played that, it wasn't great. I did play Stronghold 2, I did play Legends, I played bits of these games, I haven't played loads of them. But Stronghold 1 is just like the best in the series. I'm really hoping that the guys make a really like a nice 3D one that ends up being as good as Stronghold 1. Even Warlords, it's a cool concept, but it lost a lot of the humour and things that's good about the first game. So, yeah, if anyone's thinking about jumping into Stronghold, now is a good time to do it. This game's got a lot of bug fixes and patches since it's come out. It's actively supported. It's got a bunch of free content. It's got cheap extra campaigns that you can buy. Like, it's hard not to recommend this and not to like it, because the guys at Firefly Studios obviously give a crap. They're not trying to get loads of money out of people. They're trying to give people the best experience of the original game. And, you know, I can appreciate that. I think that's awesome that they've done it. And I am looking forward to seeing what comes in the future. Maybe we even get a Stronghold Crusader Definitive Edition. I could see them, like, if this is done well enough, maybe that's something they'll look at. Which is, again, if they keep charging it around £10 price and they're willing to add stuff to the game, awesome. I think with Crusader, you do Crusader and Crusader Extreme, put them into one package. Maybe it's slightly more, but ultimately, this is really cool. You know, it's a shame that I kind of forgot to do this earlier on, but you know, that's how it goes sometimes. Like, you just too many games coming out and pass me by. But I recommend it if you've not played Stronghold Definitive Edition, or you're looking to get into this series. This is the place to start. It's got all the upgrades, the modernization you want from a game. It's a ton of fun. It's got challenge. It's got easy, hard, normal, all these different modes and stuff to make the game sort of like how you want to play it. So I can't recommend enough. Definitely go and check this game out. Okay, that's going to do it for me today then, guys. Thank you very much for listening and watching. As always, if you like the video, hit like. If you want to see more content like this, then hit subscribe. Links for Facebook and Twitter will be down below in the description as always. And until next video, I will see you then.